Some airbrushes belong in the trash bin. Me and my daughter Nico have a ton of airbrushes. My daughter even has the Iwata Micron from Spray Gunner. I don't airbrush as much as my daughter Nico, but I do use the airbrush for zenithal priming or underpainting, and of course, varnishing. So if you love using speed paints for painting, you need this airbrush. Although I enjoy dry brushing for the underpainting for speed paints, dry brushing can be very time consuming, especially if you want good quality dry brushing. Also, let's admit, building up gray tones over the black primer via dry brushing is tedious. So even if you have an airbrush already, a very good airbrush already, or it's your first time to buy an airbrush, I think the airbrush we're using today is perfect for you. Oh, again, if you love painting with speed paints, we're going to airbrush with speed paints later in the video. I'm Don, welcome to my studio. This channel is supported by all these awesome brands. Also, special thanks to The Army Painter for making this video possible. Oh, do check out my discount codes and affiliate links below. For full disclosure, Gaahleri sent me this airbrush for testing. I also asked Gaahleri for the airbrush stand because it looks kinda cool. As you can see in the video, the stand is very well crafted and it has a nice weight to it. I specifically requested for this swallowtail. This is similar to my H&S Gaahleri airbrush, which is also a trigger type. My Gaahleri airbrush is with my friend Sydney Ang of Hajime Model Studio. Trigger type airbrushes are perfect for long hours of painting. They're great for priming, underpainting, and of course, varnishing. This Gaahleri Swallowtail came with 3 needle and nozzle pairs, like a .28 needle and nozzle, a .5, and I think a .7 needle and nozzle. You see me here in the video right now replacing the .5 needle and nozzle pair with a .28. My old Gaahleri airbrush has a .8, and I think the .7 here will perform similarly. .5 on the other hand are perfect for air paints and of course priming or primers and varnishes, especially if you don't want to thin them too much. Now I've replaced the needle with .28 and we are now ready to test this airbrush. Airbrushing is the most efficient way to create a loose or approximation of zenithal underpainting or grisaille. Whoa, it's my first time to use the word grisaille here at my YouTube channel and I feel like a better painter already. Sarcasm aside, I'm testing different pressures and different thinning ratios for the Warpaints Fanatic while using it with my .28 needle. I can't share the thinning ratios of Warpaints Fanatic yet because I'm just eyeing the proper thinning of the paints. Do tell me at the comment section below if you want proper airbrushing tutorials from my channel. Or you could simply subscribe to my daughter Nico's channel for more airbrushing tutorials. I've been using this Gaahleri airbrush for I think a little over a month now since they gave it to me. I really wanted to test it and paint a lot of miniatures, do a lot of priming, do a lot of varnishing before I could make a video. I had to test this airbrush for a while before I could recommend it to you. I learned my lesson because when my YouTube channel was new, I was like immediately endorsing tools that I will never endorse today. If you are new to airbrushing much more thinning primers and varnishes, I would recommend you use the .5 needle. However, if you're comfortable at thinning paints, primers, and varnishes, the .28 needle worked mighty fine. Now if you find value out of this video, do give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. that this airbrush, this trigger type airbrush, will perform well with the priming, underpainting, and the varnishing. But I had to test this airbrush for sketching. Generally, trigger type airbrushes were not designed for precision sketching, much more detail painting. Of course, with a little bit of practice and getting used to the trigger type, you could detail paint with this airbrush. But it's more comfortable or easier to just use a detail airbrush. Similar to the underpainting, I'm testing different thinning ratios and of course, air pressures. I was kinda surprised that Warpaint's fanatics are so easy to thin down, but I can't share the thinning ratios yet because I need to fine-tune the proper ratios. I was also testing different thinning medium, like I used just water, and then eventually I used Warpaint's retarder, but then eventually I ended up with my old $100 per bottle thinning sauce. The $100 like price tag for the thinning sauce is a joke, but the thinning sauce worked mighty fine with Warpaint's fanatics. Again, I'll fine-tune the thinning sauce for Warpaint's fanatics and I'll make a proper video, airbrushing video, for airbrushing Warpaint's fanatics. Now you can see in the video, I'm airbrushing Speedpaints. And Speedpaints, like a really quick warning, are more saturated. Really more saturated if you use them with the airbrush. Also, another tip for people who are still watching this video up to this point, Speedpaints cure to a darker finish than Warpaint's fanatics. Since Speedpaints are a little bit darker after curing and they're very saturated with the airbrush, I recommend you add a small amount of Speedpaint medium. I think I could further fine-tune the pressure, the air pressure, the thinning of the paints, and of course, the controls. I could get used to the controls of this Gaahleri Swallowtail for more detailed painting, and I think it can perform properly for like loose sketching and a little bit more precise sketching. Now, before my final thoughts, a huge thanks to all my patrons at Patreon, Hajime Model Studio, and of course, the Army Painter for making this video possible. After a little over a month of using this airbrush, I think this airbrush, this Gaahleri Swallowtail, is not good. This airbrush is very, very good. The craftsmanship is good. The moving parts is very smooth. And the performance of the airbrush is very good for the duration of the month. What I really like about this airbrush though is that the components are easy to disassemble and clean. That's it, Pansit. I hope you like this video. Do like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. Until next video, guys. Bye!